Good morning. We are going to just go into the collective Akashic records this morning just to get an energy update. So I've just opened the records and I'm just going to sit for a minute and just really bring through what is coming up for the collective at the moment. So it does really feel like there's been this massive split, and it's like the split between the third dimension and of course the fifth dimension has really it's like they're saying it's like it's elongated, and it's like the gap has got much wider, whereas before we were kind of, you know, interchanging and kind of going back and forth. But they're saying there's been this really merge like in the roads, and most people are now it's like there's been two distinct splits, one going on this path, which is the third dimension. So there's still a lot of chaos, there's a lot of fear. They're really in the narratives that are playing out in the world at the moment, and that's just going to get much louder. So it's like all the world events, like the inflation, like they're really like programmed into this narrative, and so the guides are really saying, like, because the nervous systems have just been so dysregulated for most people, like particularly in the last, you know, kind of 3 years, that a lot of people that are on this trajectory, their nervous system is now kind of addicted to this drama, chaos, something always going. It's like they're constantly looking behind them in this fear state and waiting. So because the nervous system hasn't been able to regulate, it's really feeding this story right now. And most of these people aren't aware of the work that they could very easily do to not jump into the fifth dimension, but to move gradually towards that. So there's kind of, two really direct paths. The other side, of course, is people moving up. They don't want to say the fifth dimension, but moving on to this more enlightened pattern, because they really don't want there to be a third dimension is bad and who's on this, but they also don't want to say like this is the better path. It's just people have chosen the incarnations for this time. This is the incarnation of ascension, and some people have chosen to have a really hard run at it, and they choose to remain in this denser time for now, and they will choose at whatever point that is that they start to move through ascension. They will feel things changing, but it'll be more of the fear-based and kind of not willing to surrender, and that story will run for them. So they're saying the ones that have chosen this more enlightened path are the ones that have been doing the work, that are doing their work right now. They really are craving this change. It's like you've been doing all this work for so long, for some of you, that it feels like that it's like what you've been moving mountains, they're saying. So you've been doing the heavy lifting for some period of time, and we're now on this enlightened path. They're saying this does not also mean life will just be peachy and rainbows. They're saying it's not the message or direction they want you to have in mind when we say, oh, it's out there that fifth dimension is like, oh, love and light, and, you know, we're just in this very blissful, euphoric experience all the time. They're saying, yes, you will feel more of that, but you're still in the physical body. You're still on the earth plane. So there will only be ever elements of that until more change is happening. But you are creating the new reality. So it feels like for this group in particular, a lot more lightness, a lot more to come. The message coming through is they know that this has been a very particular tough year for many of you that are on this path, that you've done the deepest work that you have really done up to date, gone deeper into yourself and into the soul than ever before, and the remembrance, the gifts, the senses are all really starting to come further online for you. They are moving you into positions and really giving you, if you're not on your soul purpose, or like they're giving you extra soul missions right now and placing you where they need more light. So it feels like there's been kind of an upgrade of skills, services, also like just to creations to help you further help these people so that are here. Again, they're saying there's no right or wrong of where you are, but the work of those that are on the more enlightened path, whether you touch one person, whether you are here to touch thousands or millions, whatever that is that we are always going to be trying to open the door and lead the path, open the path and open the portal for those to come across. It's not our job to awaken them, but our job is to have the doorway open to say, hey, come on in whenever you're ready. And so they're saying through your own experiences, through you just being the way shower, is that you are extending that invitation to the people that are in your life, to the people that surround your life. And this also came up at Sound Healing on Sunday, and they really want to say, like, this is the ripple effect of what happens, and this is how the collective changes. It won't be overnight, but we know that we are getting further and closer and closer to it. So it's always about us going first for this group and showing the way and showing those around us what is possible for them, and opening the door and being an invitation to come and meet us at some point. All right, so let's really get into the energies of October and what's coming through. So for this week in particular, they're saying those that are kind of on this enlightened path, this week it does feel like a little bit denser for us. We kind of had this, like those last couple of weeks of September, it did really feel like this trajectory of like we were really like gonna like kind of like slingshot and quantum leap like into October, but they're saying it's just been pulled back just a notch of like what we were kind of expecting and hoping for. There's some energies playing out. There's some karmic loops that are kind of coming to an end, and we're continuing to move through that this week. And then coming into our second and third week of October, they're saying that density is going to start to lift. We are really coming to that completion, like it's like this full circle moment. So they're saying this is really a month for reflection and really looking at the journey that you've had, particularly for this last 12 months. They really want you to look at it, because it can feel like one step forward, 10 steps back at the moment, but they just really want you to acknowledge, hey, look at this overall year, look at how much you've completed, look how much inner work you have really done and how much you have moved. So they're saying it's a real time for reflection, and we are going to continue to see more opportunities coming through. We're going to see, it's like, you know, it kind of feels like even though we are in spring, it's like we hadn't really come into full blossom in September, but October is that month for this kind of full bloom moment. So it's kind of like the flower is really opening up, I can see, and it's like this beautiful light in the middle of the bud of the flower, and it's like that is you, and it's like you are going to really step into your authenticity, really stepping into your voice, into like this light warrior, this light worker, the starseed. It's like you are really like going to put it out there to be seen, you know. We don't need to hide that anymore. So it's this beautiful kind of unveiling, it feels like, coming into that end of October of what we're going to really move through for this particular group that is more on that enlightened path right now and have done this work for a while. It's like it's this blooming moment, which is beautiful to witness, and kind of feeling like we're getting into the groove of thing. It's like the ego's not coming up as much, the nervous system's more regulated. We're going to feel more of that bliss energy. You know, we've been feeling so much of the ascension symptoms for what feels like forever, and they're saying that's really coming to an end because you've reached that frequency moment, and it's like this unveiling, and it's like then it's like this kind of beautiful expansion energy that you're in, and you're going to start to feel just lighter. It's like there will kind of be a moment where you forget about all the hardships, where you forget about, and that's why they're saying that's part of the reflection of what they would like to happen. Because even now they're saying you've forgotten all these things that you've actually done, and that, you know, this path, because it's like we get to this higher frequency and then we're like, oh, that's right, like I walked this whole big staircase to get to this point. So they're saying this is a beautiful time to just reflect on the journey that has been. And then to really, like, coming into the end of October and into November, it's really a time of change for many of us. And it'll be kind of this big go action coming in, just like I see the last kind of 2 weeks of October, but definitely into November, kind of like wrapping things up, but also like new projects, anything that you're starting, it's like to come to this completion point before the end of the year. And then kind of slowing things down, coming into December, like really taking this break, because then next year is also going to be another big year of more opportunities, more things to come. But they're saying definitely for the end of October into November, it's like this big kind of period of action. A lot of things, like it's kind of like the string's been pulled, and then it's just like now tumbling on its own. You've kind of built that momentum this first 2 weeks of October, and then it's now like it's just going to now just run on its own. So we're going to feel a lot more of that flow energy. It's feeling like we're not pushing shit up a hill anymore. It's like, oh, we're coming, you know, we're kind of coasting for a little bit. So it feels like this beautiful break, and like in this lighter energy and that kind of bliss energy. So coming back to our other group that are kind of chosen this to stay in this denser time for right now, coming back to them, we're going to see over the coming weeks just a lot more, I want to say trauma. The word trauma is coming through. A lot more trauma is coming to the surface. A lot more hardships. It's kind of like this, it feels like you can't get a break. It's like and it does feel like the walls are kind of tumbling down and crumbling around you. It's like it's one thing after the other, you know. It might be like the car's broken down, and now the fridge is like packed it in, and then it's like it just feels like I can't catch a break. but there's also this real yearning for the change and what they do want to happen, but they just, it's like this feeling completely stuck, and it's like, it almost feels like a quicksand energy of like, I just can't catch a break, I can't get out of this. And so it's like it is this real chaotic energy that just keeps going and looping and looping and looping. So they're saying if you're in this energy, it's like, you know, like they want you to really see it as quicksand. It's like, you know, if you're like trying to move and just like trying to get out of there, that you sink quicker. So they're saying for October and moving into November and December, for this timeline, if you feel like that you are connected to this timeline, it's like stop, just stop. just stop is what they're saying. They're saying stop. It's like you keep trying to resist the surrender. You keep trying to say, no, I'm in control, I can change this. And it's like that, it is that, I want to say, that very masculine energy, and that kind of, when we get into that ego of like, I know what's best and I know how to get myself out of it, because that's been your survival mechanism. So they're saying that's not going to work even in this timeline. We're going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, but things just aren't going to work the way that they have. So they're saying the best thing that you can do is stop fighting and just surrender and go, okay, this is where I'm at. I've chosen this for whatever reason. I've chosen this timeline. I've chosen this because I have some lessons to learn here, but I'm going to stop and I'm going to catch my breath for a minute before I start the struggle and the fight. So think of, they really want you to, I don't know why, but we're really picturing this quicksand feeling, and the fighting just pulls us down more. So they're saying stop for a moment, catch your breath. And so this is going to be really about what's playing out, but it's like we have to kind of like go inwards. So they're saying stop, breathe, and it's like kind of like we're putting on noise cancelling headphones, we're putting on a shutter like over our eyes, and it's like they just want you to come into you. It's kind of like we have to do something to drown out all the exterior and just be in. So they're saying right now this group is fighting at every chance to really go within. They don't want to go into the body. We dissociate, we keep busy, we keep moving and keep just trying this. It's just like this, like just trying to get through. But they're saying the work is to just stop and to surrender for the moment and just go, right, if I literally have to put myself into bed with the doona over my head for a few days just to get that quiet, so that I can get some clarity, so that I can just find some peace within, or that I can really just sit with the feelings within, so that I can start to get out of the overwhelm and the sensation of that drowning feeling, so that I can start to see the pathways and the doors opening of the people here that are trying to now, help me connect to this. But it's like it's like you can't see it right now, or it doesn't feel like it, because of just the chaos and the noise and everything happening around you. So they're saying that's really going to be homework for this group in particular, is to just find the peace for a moment, just stop, slow down. If you can take some time off, even if it's just a few hours, and just don't fill the space with anything. They're saying right now the thing you resist the most is just being with yourself. So they're saying that's all you really need to do to start the journey ahead, is to spend time just being alone, being with yourself, being in your thoughts, being in your body. It's like nothing can happen until we start to acknowledge what is going on in the body. Okay, so it's really the message coming through for this group in particular, working through this through October, moving into November, and it will also be carrying into December for you. That's not to say that like good things aren't going to happen on this path, but they're saying it is now this real shift of what you want to move into. And it's like, well, if you want to be on this other path, there's work to do. There's work to do to find the doorways and to work through these issues. So the other message coming through for the month of October is to really look at our heart. So spending more time with compassion and love. Kind of like they want you to look at yourself first. So very much about filling your cup, giving yourself that self-love. You know, it's like letting just go of any egoic tendencies that are still there, that of like, I need the external validation, I need someone else to pick me up, I need this. They're saying everything you need is already within you, but it's you being able to experience the self-love no matter what path you are on. So it could be right now, you know, like you know, this lower timeline, you know, money's an issue right now, relationships an issue right now, work's an issue right now, and usually when we're in that, it's only when, you know, we're successful, there's money in the bank, we've got love, we've got a job that we love. It's like when you have all that, we feel that inner love, we feel more respect for ourselves, we feel that energy, because it's like everything's going right. But they're saying we have to be able to love ourselves even when things aren't going right. And for this group, of course, we're going to have times on this earthly planet that we are still having the earthly experience, and we will drop back down through the fourth and into the third, and things will still happen. But it's being able to give ourselves love and compassion in those times of like, I find myself in this loop or in this cycle again. It's giving ourselves the love and compassion when we're in that. You might find that this doesn't happen as often when we're on this higher timeline, but it will happen from time to time. But it's that self-love that is always going to be the work that we, you know, to keep us going on that path. And when we do drop back down, is to give that self-love so that we can get back up again. All right, so I'm just gonna, any other final thoughts, anything else just wanting to come through? So we're going to see a lot of Pleiadian energies within the collective at the moment. For many of you, you'll feel these energies. They are working very closely with us at this time. So they're really saying you can lean on these energies and on these guides if you are particularly drawn to them. Now would be a good time to be working with them. Also, and as always, making sure that we really stay grounded, really doing the daily work to be in body and embodying the lessons that we have learned, but that is always through grounding and really being present in our body at this present time. So they're saying that's really the main focuses and everything that they would like to share with you at this time moving forward for October. And they also just want to end with just reminding you how loved you are by all of your guides, by the universe, and really just being in this frequency of love. And any time that perhaps you feel lonely, just remember that you are surrounded by so many guides, so much energy, that really are all cheering you on for this earthly experience, because they do know that it is not an easy decision that you've made for this earth incarnation, but particularly this one, because it is an ascension, and what the collective all goes through at some level and some degree. So they just want to really end by just saying that they really love you and that you are really supported, and they are available, that you just have to tap in, and they will be there to help you and to guide you in any way that they possibly can. So I'm just going to close the records up. So I just want to thank you for joining me for that energy update and report. Usually I would just open the records and write and channel through, but I was like, you know what, it's just going to be much easier for me just to record these and upload them than do it that way. So I am all about trying to make things easy on myself and flow. So have a great day. Enjoy October. Remember, it does not matter what timeline you are on. You are where you're supposed to be right now. See ya.